Tonight I want you to turn with me to the 16th chapter of Luke's Gospel. And beginning at verse 19, there's a story that Jesus told. There was a certain rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores, and it came to pass that the beggar died, and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And in Hades he lifted up his eyes, being in torment, and sees Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water, and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and you're in torment. And besides all this, between us and you there's a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from thence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldst send him to my father's house. For I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. And Abraham saith unto him, They have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, Nay, Father Abraham, they would not, but if one came from the dead, they will repent. And he said unto him, If they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, even though one rose from the dead.
Hell, of course, is the most hated truth in the world today. Most gospel ministers don't preach about it. Many gospel preachers don't believe it anymore. Even in some Pentecostal circles, they don't believe there is a hell. They say it's incompatible with the preaching of God's love. They say, how can a God of mercy send anybody to a burning pit of everlasting hell? But Jesus was the very first to warn of hell. He said, Whosoever shall say thou fool shall be in danger of hell fire. Jesus warned Capernaum, Bethsaida, and everyone who would reject his word, he said, you shall be brought down to hell. Jesus said, you serpents, generation of vipers, how can you escape the damnation of hell? Jesus preached more about hell than he did about heaven. Jesus was the greatest preacher on hell in all this living word.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the agonies of hell as we talk about 5 minutes after death. And my task when I talk to you about hell is not an easy one. Hell is the butt of jokes, the idea of ridicule. About the only time you see anything about hell today is in the comic pages today. A preacher who preaches on hell is looked upon as either ignorant or cruel or both. You say, well, Adrian, you're not going to preach on hell today, are you? I thought you were educated. Haven't you been to school? I've been accused of that. Yeah, I've been to school. But I believe in hell. You know, let me tell you why I believe in hell. Number one, because Jesus teaches it. Now, if you ever ridicule a preacher for being a hellfire preacher, you are ridiculing the Lord Jesus Christ. There are at least 162 texts in the New Testament that speak of hell and the judgment of the lost. Over 70 of these were issued by Jesus Christ himself. I believe in hell because I believe in Jesus. But not only do the words of Jesus teach that there's a hell, the death of Jesus demonstrates that there is a hell. Now, be reasonable. If there's no hell from which men need to be saved, why did Jesus die? If there's no hell, then Calvary is the blunder of the ages. May I tell you that by the spit that they placed into the face of Jesus, by every lash that was laid upon his back, by every thorn that pierced his brow, by the agony and the utter midnight of Calvary, there is a hell.
Depart from me, you cursed, into eternal fire, prepared, here it is, for the devil and his angels. It was originally created for the devil and his angels, but all the goats are going to end up there. Here it is again. Even though those who rejected Jesus as the only Savior and Lord will end up in that lake of fire, and yet that lake of fire originally was created by God for Satan and his demons. And that lake of fire was created before the creation, before Adam and Eve was created. And now it's being readied. It's being readied. Revelation 20 and verse 10 again, the devil who deceived them was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur. Beloved, don't miss this. Please don't miss what I'm going to tell you. The Bible makes it very clear that hell is a real place. Hell is not a state of mind. Hell is not the figment of imagination. Hell is not a figure of speech. Hell is a real place, and real people are going to be there for all of eternity.
My friends, there's not one single solitary argument a man can make against the Bible doctrine of hell which cannot be applied with equal force against the Bible doctrine of heaven. For example, if a man takes a position that hell is going to last for only 1,000 years, then at the end of that period, those who are in heaven will cease to be blessed. How do I know? Because the same word used to modify hell's punishment is also used to qualify the bliss and happiness of heaven. If hell is going to last only 1,000 years, then heaven is going to last for only 1,000 years. When the wicked cease to be punished in hell, at that same moment God Almighty and the Holy Spirit will go out of existence. The same word used to describe the duration of hell's punishment is also used to describe the duration of God's life and the life of the Holy Spirit. How long is the punishment going to last in hell? It's going to last eternally or everlastingly. The punishment will continue forever and ever and ever. There are people who argue against that position. They say this is too long. They argue that it isn't right to take a man who has lived 5 years in disobedience and punish him forever. Well, if it's wrong to take a man who has been disobedient for 5 years and condemn him forever, then it's wrong to take a man who has lived 5 years in obedience and bless him forever. If not, why not? The same argument which is used to get rid of the Bible doctrine of hell can be applied with equal force against the Bible doctrine of heaven. Now let me repeat that. If it's wrong to condemn a man eternally for 5 years of disobedience, then it would be wrong to bless a man eternally for 5 years of obedience. Those who argue that eternal punishment is too long may not recognize it, but they're taking a slap at every system of justice in the world.
And amen. I want to speak on the reality and the danger of hell. Hell is a real place. In fact, if you're to read the Word of God, Jesus spoke on the subject of hell more than he did on heaven. But sad to say, in the modern pulpit in the 1900s, there's not much said on the subject of hell. Hundreds of years ago, men of God, holy men of God, godly men were criticized as being hellfire and brimstone preachers. You see, because somehow in our mind we cannot conclude that God can be a God of love, but at the same time that a God of love can cast people into hell. As I used to say, God never sends a man to hell, he sends himself. That is true in a sense, but the Word of God says, God Almighty. The Apostle Paul says, God is a God of love. But that God who's a God of love is a just God. We have justice in our government and justice in our courts. In Barbados, when a man commits a crime, justice must be meted out. Justice must be done. A man must go to prison if he commits a crime. If you believe that, can you say amen? In society, we have prisons. In society, we have laws. And when a man breaks the law, he's a lawbreaker. We say he is a transgressor of the law of the land. And that man is guilty, and justice must be done. God is the God of justice. There is a place called hell. And if you're not, look up here tonight, if you're not living right, if you're not living holy, if you're not living a godly life, you might be a member. You might say you speak in tongues, been confirmed or baptized, but I want to tell you, you're in danger of God casting you into hell. The God that you say you praise and tithe to and go to church every so often. If you're not living a holy life, if Jesus Christ is not in control of your life, God's going to cast you into hell. Hell is not a curse word. Hell is not a joke. Hell is a theological word. Hell is a place that God created. We laugh.
Hello, everybody. A couple of changes happening around. I fired Stephen. I didn't consult Dan. I'm just kidding. From now on, I'll be starting the shows without a schedule, and I'll put any intro that I want. I'm drunk. I'm kidding. Nothing of this is true. So Stephen is at work. He got caught up. And I've tried hard finding a way to schedule a show, and I can't schedule it. I can only start it. So I had that button there that said live, and I was like, okay, maybe if I press the button, it's gonna give me time, because there was no other option anywhere. So I hit the button, so I get a second time, second chance to save this. It's like, do you want to do recording or do you want to go live? Like, I want to go live, but not immediately. It's like, okay, just press this button. I press the button, here we are. We're live, everyone. So I think only the host can schedule shows. Alternatively, I should start another room, and then I would be able to schedule it. But having a room ready, this is a good thing about this platform. It allows you to use the same rooms again and again. So we have a Lion's Den room, and it has all the destinations set up and everything, and I don't have to do all that. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll surprise them all. Hello, my sister. Gigi, yes, I never responded to your email. If Dan and Stephen are gonna be there, I'll be there too. But yeah, but it's not gonna be fun. I mean, I see how the chats are going about us, so I guess when they see us all around, they'll come in and interrupt and talk and bring up ad hominems and attacks and everything. So I've been watching a little bit of your show, and this is what inspired this, actually. But before I get to what inspired this, I want you to know something. And if Dustin is still there, let him know to come check this out. He said he doesn't understand why I stick around and I love Stephen when everybody else has betrayed him. Well, I have a word for him to look up. Jesus. I still love Jesus, and everybody has betrayed him. Even Dustin. So, yeah, just because people have their own ideas and minds and feelings and plans and schedules and deciding to have their own way, that doesn't mean I don't get to have the same right. And I choose to be with the guy who is kicking your butt, guys, on everything. We're here to do some damage. So I'm alone today, and that's why I'm really worried about putting a link out there. Because if I put a link out there, That means no one can control me. What happens when you get in here? I don't have Stephen, I don't have Krista, I don't have Dan to say, no, 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 don't do this. So if you come in, and I might bite, and I bite hard. You haven't seen much of that yet, because there's always company. Yeah, Krista, I'm sorry. I couldn't find a way to schedule it. I couldn't. Though I can send you a link, but I know that you're with your phone and you're having issues. My other alternative is to put the link out there. And if I put the link out there, when they see the subject that I'm about to address, oh, they're going to start flying in. And I don't know where this is going to go. Yes, this would be a good title. Gigi. Okay, you know what? I'll send out a couple of those. All right. Gigi, Krista. I'll send also to Stephen and Dan. And I'll even send to Steph. Copy. Okay, copy. All right, guys. I can't talk and do things at the same time. I'm a man. Only women can do that. They can do two things at the same time because God made them crazy like that. Okay, so one link is out. Now let's see the other one. I can't forward them all together, and I'm too busy right now to do blind copies. So I'll just send to the right people. Done. Hello, done, 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 done. So I have some layout that I want to try to stick to, which is has to do with biology, what you in the States call biology and what it truly is. And in case Stephen gets off work soon, I will send him a message because I know you guys love Stephen, and because you all love him, I'm going to throw him an invitation so you can have him. Okay, somebody just came in, but give me another minute. Now, whoever it is, I wanna focus on. Yes, one more. I might open the panel later and bring evolutionists to defend what they are about to see, which is completely undefendable, and it'll be fun. So let's just bring some guards over so they can. Okay, it's not 10 minutes. Okay, it just took me a couple. Here's the first. Sorry for keeping you waiting, brother.
Well, that's alright. I just want to tell you, when I have that show, just have you three on there, and you guys can, and I could talk to you, and if anyone wants on, it would have to be okay by you guys.
We're all bloodthirsty,
Yeah.
so we won't mind anyone.
Right.
But what
It's up to you.
I would love is if we can have some mutual respect. When one speaks, the other doesn't talk over him. Do you remember the other day I was in your channel and Azra came in and he wouldn't allow like a single word to come out of my mouth without interrupting me on the third word?
I think so.
That's what shouldn't be happening. So
Okay.
if you can control that, you can allow as many people as you want. I know BBM can control himself, even though he's different when he's in chats and when he's on panel.
It's up to you. I would just have you three talk and stuff and interview you, and you could take questions from the comments and stuff like that. Well, I watched your video earlier, and I showed a little bit of it on my show.
Yeah, I noticed, and I told you that
Sorry.
they wouldn't allow you to play it, right? And they would stop you in a couple of seconds, and they would be like, blah 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 blah. So that part that you played
Yeah.
is actually for the person who stopped it, and it was saying that not only before you understand, uh, I don't remember, it's back in 2016, you have to remember who you are. And then it continues and says, you're a child and you can't see your father because you are imprisoned inside a construct, and you are protecting that construct with ridicule, laughter, anger, and fake belief.
Oh.
And speaking of fake belief, that same person said, how can Achilles think that the world is of the shape that he thinks it is when the Greeks knew better? Well, it's pretty apparent he hasn't done any research, because the only thing that says that Greeks knew that is the Eratosthenes experiment. You can look it up, Mr. Azo, and you'll see how it proves nothing, how it was not possible, and how Eratosthenes actually never existed, because we have no writings. He had a Greek name, but he was from Alexandria, living in Alexandria, a place with a lot of Gnostic and mystic things, for lack of a better word. Okay. Okay, Steph, I just sent you the link as well. That's all. You don't need to join. But I just sent the link to some people that I know, that we can have, a good flow without, stuff. So, and here's where the thing is about, if you think that the Greeks knew better, then what I'm about to present, which is how today's Greece is not teaching evolution in schools, and I'm going to show you all the books of biology from every single class of Greek high school, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade. I got them all here. I got them all open. Not on my hands, which would be hard to show you. No. I have them in tabs. So what is it, Mr. I believe all the narrative? Do you trust Greece or do you not trust Greece? Do you trust the science that Greeks give you or not? You gotta give in on one of the two. You can't tell me here you don't trust them, but there, how could I know any different when Greeks believed in balls? No, they didn't. There are so many myths about falling out of the edge in ancient Greece. Plus, we have discovered the Antikythera mechanism, which predicts eclipses, solar and lunar eclipses, on a flat model. So if you do want to do some wiki freakinpedia, you'll see when we discovered or considered the shape, because you want probably me to tell you why the Native Americans were called Indians, right? You needed this random Greek on the internet to illuminate you on the fact that they thought that the world was flat all until that time, right? And then the whole thing explodes, And then in 2020, they start coming up with this Eratosthenes, and everybody's like, oh yeah, look, the Greeks. And you delete like 2,000 years like they never happened because Wikipedia says otherwise. I mean, my American friends, please de-dumpify yourself. I mean, you gotta at least try. You see what happens, Gigi, when Stephen is not around? Control me. Okay, the president is here for the rescue. Okay, put me in chains, Dan. Whip me. Dan, are you here?
Hello.
Hello.
No, we're a ministry that believes in the foundation of Christian beliefs and salvation, and the hosts are allowed to have their own beliefs on non-essentials. And I actually love it because that's the only way we can learn and know and respect people in our community. Because we're gonna have to, God's not gonna be up there in heaven going, Kelly, you go in that corner. Stephen, you over there. Dan, you over there. No. I think we better start here. Agreeing to disagree.
Yeah, well,
Hello, Achilles.
yeah, the subject that I began with is just a great segue to get into biology because somebody wanted to defend the fact that he believes NASA, and he actually called me a NASA denier, which is an honor. Thank you very much. I am that because I'm not stupid. I have a science degree. I take space photos. I have a telescope. I also have a DSLR. And these are things that Americans don't even care to buy. No, I mean, not everyone, but the average, YouTube foe, they don't even have a DSLR. They have like their phone. And it's like, yeah, I can take photographs. Ooh, can you? Do you have a tripod? What is that? Is that from a movie with Tom Cruise?
I have a question. Dan, what happened between you and Dustin over there?
Oh, Dustin's been out bad mouthing ever since I said he couldn't. On Proverbs, guys, we want to no cussing, and we don't want a bunch of drama. If it's just unless somebody comes into my comments and it's like I will address them, but just to say that somebody did another show and there's drama over there, somebody says something on your show, I'm not going to come over here and then go, oh well, George said this on Gigi's show, and I didn't want that drama. So that and the cussing. Our poor friend out there thought I was trying to shut down his speech. So, I think as humans, we should be intelligent enough to be able to follow those two simple rules and get our message out. You know what I'm talking about? So
And
I
this
wouldn't
is
have used his name right now if you hadn't have brought it up
And
personally.
this is why this is happening, Dan, so we don't get the message out. And we are here to do a very specific mission. Those that don't like it, they have the right to go on Gigi show, on every other show, and badmouth us. Even though they pretend to be friends, they can go right on and attack us. But we will continue doing what we are here to do.
I
No,
Only
like it.
exactly.
I can invite them actually to do something.
Oh,
There is this button on YouTube that says subscribe and it's
yeah.
highlighted. If you hit it again, it unsubscribes you.
I
All
didn't
right.
know.
You might,
So I've been
you
inviting people to do that on my channel for years. If you don't like what I do, here's the button, click it. But you ain't gonna tell me what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, no, you might need a diagram for some of the people out there. No,
Really
I
do.
mean,
Yeah, you
you
do.
do.
You do. You gotta show them. You gotta take their hand and take it over there and hit the button with your own finger.
No, and it just shows, though. I mean, we will get frustrated with each other. I still think it's sparring. There's one person in this YouTube community in large that I actually had said, hey, if our sparring together is upsetting you, I'll stop doing it, and he didn't. And just the other day, he admitted that he was furious. He was saying that I was mean and mad. It's like I've never been mean and mad. This is what I did for fun growing up because I couldn't beat people up or fight that way. So I would fight with wits, and it's so much fun. But I'll stop doing that because I really didn't know he was that big of a you know somebody, and I'm trying to be nice about it, but I thought he was more mature. That he could actually take words. I was always raised on that thing, even though it didn't work. Sticks and stones can hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I was raised on that, but my brother stuck with the first part of it. He was he stuck with the sticks and the stones on me.
He tried, huh?
Yeah, it's like yeah,
Give me an interruption here. Lupin, I was busy and dazed and confused, okay? So I just found the comment. I searched for Lupin Wolf and I forgot the email address that we communicate. And I just sent an email to YouTube with the link because it was an email I found from YouTube telling me that you commented on a video. So yeah, now YouTube has a link. Maybe she will join.
Oh, that's good. Oh, Dan,
hi, Lupin.
I told Lupin Achilles about Sunday. That's 3:00. You say or 3:30?
Well, no, I said to set that up with Stephen, but I thought that was a good time for Achilles, and then you can interview us. You can interview the stars of Proverbs, guys. If you are real nice, you
We
might even
ain't
get Chris
stars.
to come.
We ain't
I'm
stars.
joking.
Yeah,
I'm
stars
joking.
gravitate around themselves. We're more like comets. We're going from one place to the other and we don't stay in one place. So
Oh.
No,
narcissists
exactly.
are stars. Hey, look at me, I'm a star.
Oh.
No,
Oh.
okay.
Oh.
Let's try to go to the subject, but go ahead. Gigi,
What
go
is
ahead.
our subject tonight?
I've brought up some biology books. This is part of the series about why is Christianity true, and the first part of it is the scientific lies. We did one part, but this is part two. So we're gonna get into the Greek biology books that people teach, that professors here teach to children. Um, First grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, just to prove to some Americans, the dumb ones, that evolution is not only getting taught there and in other barbarian countries. So I'm glad I have in the room the smart ones, those that see that.
Me.
Well, you're not believing in evolution. You understand 1 + 1 = 2. You understand there is a creator, so that puts you immediately on another level. You have
Unless you got your math from North Korea, because if you take one drop of water and then you combine it with another and you add it to another drop of water, it still turns into one drop of water. So honestly, like 1 + 1 = 1.
yeah, but it's a
Depending on who
bigger
you
one.
listen,
But
whenever
it's
you
a
listen.
bigger dude. Dude,
Yeah.
don't play this game with me because I can prove to you that 2 + 2 is 5.
I'd like to hear that.
No, I can prove it to you.
Okay.
What is
And
what is
plus, before you get started, Achilles, I got a bone to pick with our buddy here. Man,
Oh, let me put the VS mode on.
Levin,
Wait, let me find it. There must be one.
where are we? No, I'm teasing. I got in
I'm
a
trying to get
shouting
my.
fight. I got a shouting fight with your boy Dustin. So, yeah, it was funny.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah. It's always fun, man. But always know how much your time is. Always know the value of your time. Always know where to spend your time, because at the end of the day, your time is money. That phrase didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's the absolute truth.
Yeah, this is my rest time though, so I put in a 6-inch drainage pipe today. And you're looping. Dustin was, saying some. And again,
All
I'm
right,
bringing his name
let's
up because of Gangster
let's.
Ghost brought him up. But
I'm gonna
It's
let's
have.
go.
all
Achilles,
fun.
it's your show.
And
Shut us
it's
up.
not
Mute
my
us.
show. It's not my show. It's a Lions Den, but I would rather we focus it on
Yes,
um,
go for
some
it.
work and not what crazy people say on the internet. You
Oh
know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Trust me, Dan. I've been here. I've dealt with these people much
Oh
longer
yeah,
than
yeah,
you
yeah.
have,
But let me
Yeah,
continue.
and yeah,
All
no,
yeah.
right.
Just don't worry
I was
about it,
having
man.
fun. I'm
You
having
will.
fun with it, but I will mute myself, Achilles, because you're not man enough to mute me.
I can't mute the president. Who am I? We will have to vote, and there are not enough PG members. It's just me and Gigi here, and we would both have to vote. So
Can I share a quick 10-second little short to just show you how lost on biology these people are and what
does
kind
it
of
have profanity?
No, it doesn't.
Are you gonna throw one like you did last time, and then you're gonna leave?
I mean, hey, we all have our moments.
Oh yeah, you can apologize, and I'll play the video
My apologies for telling the truth.
with some profanity. That is the issue. It's not saying the truth because
Yeah.
he is that. Claude is that. What you said, but just don't do it here because we have teens watching. All right.
Well, kitty cats, boys, ladies and
All
Well,
right.
you
gentlemen.
got me
Okay.
watching. I don't
Uh,
want to hear it either.
all right.
Yeah,
Let's see.
So gotta full screen this.
yeah. So if you want to know how bad this atheism evolution has messed up these people's brain, this is all you got to know.
Click the button to full
We're
screen.
no different.
And
Do
lesbian
you?
couple.
Hmm?
The button on the top right to full screen it.
Uh,
Yep.
it's a little short, so it's still gonna come up kind of small. So anyway, here we go.
We're no different.
And
Do
lesbian
you?
couples can have.
Were you saying something?
No, it immediately starts with lesbian couples. I'm not that fine about that one, but
Oh, I mean, it's just trust me, just listen to it.
We're no different.
And
Do
lesbian
you
couples can have children too.
naturally? Boom, got him.
We're
I mean, that just goes to show you how lost these people are. I mean, if you think that a lesbian or a homosexual couple can have a child naturally, you lost, bro. You're lost, and I don't know if I can find you.
all right.
Sorry about
Yeah,
that,
the
man.
thing is that they fail their basic biology, right? And for some reason, they think that this is some evolution of the species, that it turns that way. And then when you ask them why, they say, because we're overpopulated. That's why.
Yep.
So, that's how stupid can they get? How Billy Gates controlled can you get to think
Well,
that?
and that's the problem. Thanks, Lupin, because they're throwing at you guys. We have the science, we have the biology, but boys can have babies. It's like what?
Yeah,
And
and big
it just shows the spiritual
delusion.
blindness. And but that's really quick. Yeah, you can keep going. I'm gonna say hi to people as you go, Achilles.
Yeah. Um. So,
Uh-oh.
yeah, you said, Lupin, that they say that they have the science. What they have
Is
is
it
lies
propaganda,
that they
delusion?
call science.
Yep.
And that's why I started with this intro about the guy who is now in the comments who said, how can Achilles believe in this shape when it's Greeks themselves that believed in the other shape and we know it since then? That is a lie, and I discussed about this earlier. But B, oh, So you do acknowledge that Greeks brought some stuff like science, philosophy, biology, excluding the word science, every other word is Greek. Biology is a Greek word, philosophy is a Greek word, and so is everything that is in them when you start reading them. And we'll have another show concerning the whole fake philosophy of the Middle Ages and later, and Nietzsche, who I actually, other than being the atheist that he was actually one of my very favorite philosophers. But everybody else, Descartes, Spinoza, recycled Greek philosophy.
You
Then,
know,
then you have the whole Calvinism thing going back all the way to Plato. You have the United States being the Republic of Plato. You have the multiverse theories that Gigi shared a video with me, and I did check it out, Gigi, which goes back to Greek philosophers. You have the Big Bang theory, which also goes back to Greek mythology, because that was the Greek mythology of the time, that it was chaos, and all of a sudden, out of chaos, you have everything. And here we go and we call out that science, while in fact, what it is going back to a pre Christianic understanding.
to
And
just
because
understand how the create, I mean, there's always been a creator, whether you wanted to call that Jesus Christ or God or, you know, whatever other kind of God you had, there was always a creator.
so
These people,
they're taking all these paganistic and mythological and even philosophical assertions. Look it up, Azo, or anybody there. Assertions don't have proof. And they take that and they label it as science now, 3,000 years later. So, in those books of those people that you are going back to, evolution is not getting taught. And I have the books right here. When the discussion allows, or we feel like a little low on energy, I have the books. I'll open them up and we'll start going in all the first pages of all the books to see that the evolution tree is nowhere to be found. It's only in your schools. And that's exactly what happened to China when the communists entered the country. They brought evolution in the schools because communism requires God to leave from the consciousness of people for communism to stand.
of course,
It-
because the leader has to be God. The man, the head
right.
honcho, you got to replace God with something. If
Which is
you
what the result is today of China,
humanism,
which is supposedly no longer a communist country, but it has this Taoism, it's called,
hmm
where you're going to heaven if you are a good robot. The better you are towards your government, the better to a good place you're going after your afterlife.
yeah. Can I say something real quick? And then I'm gonna have to cut it a little bit short, and I got to take care of a few things.
Go ahead.
I've just realized. I mean, these atheists. Some of us that we've been dealing with for years. I've been dealing with some of these for years. Some of these atheists for years. I've seen their actions, who they've been dealing with, whether it be Kent Hovind or any other Christian. I see them, obviously combating, but I know even whenever you're in a combative state that you're still learning. So these atheists, and this is a sign of the end times as well. I mean, look, there's gonna be no excuse for you guys, and I'm sorry, I hate to say that you know I don't like to say that people are going to hell. I'm really not the kind of person to say that you're going to be going to hell. But honestly, there comes a certain time whenever you fight with some of these atheists for so long, and you know what they've been up to, who they've been hanging around with,
Why
and
go back to this? Why? Why are we going back to the fighting or that they do on the internet? Why do you allow it to take over?
oh, well, what I'm just saying is that these atheists, they don't have a life as a Christian knows. They don't have a life. They honestly don't have a life, literally. Because if you're a Christian, you understand that Jesus Christ is the life, and the fact that you have that and you reject it, that puts you in a certain category. And we're just here to spread the gospel. I'm at a point where I'm done debating. I'm done debating. I'm not going to sit here and debate with you anymore. Because
But since you're saying this, they think they do have a life, but they don't
oh,
understand what we are saying about having
a-
life,
the
not
life,
having a life, having
the
life,
life, having
right?
life.
And
Correct.
being sure that once you die, you will not really die. You will have life that continues through the interruption of death. And they think, how can you guys know that? So let's uh, analyze and
Well,
start from the basics.
that's where
We
faith.
can either be here by a creator or not. Which side has the most evidence? If you bring up something that says, hey, this is evidence, you go and look that up and you'll see that it's not an evidence, it's a lie. If
Yeah.
it's not a lie, I will take it for evidence, for randomness, and for evolution. But it is fabricated, and we've proven it many times, and that's why you guys hate Ken Hovind so much. Oh no, I hate him because of this, because of that. Shut up. We all
Them-
know why you hate him. You hate him
because
because
they
he
hate God.
destroyed the narrative. And after he destroyed it, there are some people around that woke up from that and they took over and they're doing their own thing. That's why we have him high where he deserves to be. And we're not idolizing him. He's just a brother like us and he makes mistakes like we do, right? We all do mistakes. But when it comes to your evolution theory, he kicked it.
Yeah,
How?
it's
Well,
dead.
what up, Andrew?
It's dead.
Hey, how are you?
Um, we're fine. We're glad to have you around. I just wonder because I shoot out the link to like the 5 people that came to my mind, and so Dan probably shared it in the Facebook group, right?
He did.
Okay,
I did.
okay. You're the president. You don't have to ask. You just do whatever you think is
Oh, I
best.
just, I just figured, I just figured you aren't in that group, so you don't love us over there.
I love
Don't.
my privacy more.
Yeah,
That's all.
he doesn't want to be in your book of faces. I understand that.
Yep, yep. You know, the Facebook reminds me of that Bugs Bunny joke, which was like the nose in the book. Do you remember that? Lupin, the punishment, nose in the book.
Man, I don't know. Big Bad Mama asked me if I remember Bugs Bunny dressing up as a woman to seduce Elmer Fudd. I was like, I don't even remember that.
Oh, come on. How can you forget that? That
I
was
think
my
is it
first
was it a pink
trauma.
dress? Was it a pink dress and a blonde like wig?
Yeah, and lipstick and everything. Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, they take it to such a perverted level that it doesn't need to go down. It's just like nasty, man. It's nasty, man. Talking with these people, it's like they're disgusted. They're disgusting people, and then you bring up something slightly provocative, and then they get all offended. It's actually quite funny. It's actually quite funny, man. Man, dude, what was I gonna say? Continue on. Continue on.
Well, you know what? If the whole trans thing didn't get such an agenda and the seriousness that it received, we here in Greece, we like every time people get drunk at some party, somebody's going to do it. Somebody will go in the toilet and come out as a woman and dance so everybody laughs their butts off, with somebody who is dancing like a girl. But now it has taken a new level, like nobody dares to do that anymore. Like
Oh
I
no!
think,
Now they believe it. Now they believe it. And if
yeah,
you
now they'll be like, oh, he came out the closet.
like
Um,
he really transformed. Like, it's Harry Houdini. You know,
So I
like,
have I have like an old tape from a VCR where we were having a party. I was like 10 years old, and the 50-year-old, two 50-year-old guys or 60-year-old guys came out dressed as women, and like it's supposed to be funny. But anyway, it's no joke anymore.
Yeah, no, I've seen it where it's gone. It used to be, lampooning, lambasting, satire, and now it's become this political pawn and tool. Which I don't know. Maybe that was its original goal in the beginning, and you know how they try and sneak things in through. I don't even want to say the back door because they're going to take that out of context. But they try and sneak things in and say, "Oh, we're just joking," but then after a while, it starts transforming. Again, that's also another pretty funny thing. It starts transforming into like an actual social narrative, which is pretty interesting. Um, yeah, my thought is slipping my mind right now. But anyway, we're being invaded by drones.
I know. And
Yeah,
people don't even talk about it. That's what freaks me out. That people are like, yeah, it's like a normal day, like any other day, it's fine.
no,
But
I saw
now that you mentioned that, Lupin, remember how 2024
began.
started on the
Yeah,
first day?
I think about that a lot, man.
And you see how it ends?
Them aliens going after their Nikes, and now we got SUV sized
And yeah, like
drone.
SUV sized, like these are big things, man, and there are too many. Like, who is this? Who's doing this?
Oh yeah, and our government, we don't know. I
And they
mean,
said they said
I don't know.
they put out this official statement. There's nothing to worry about them. So the
Yeah.
guy, the White House representative that has never been caught lying before,
Oh,
was asked, "Wait a minute. How can you tell us if you don't know? How can you tell us to not worry about it?" He's
right.
like, "Well, the preliminary examination hasn't shown anything to worry about." And then the guy's like, "Yeah, but with that one balloon from China, you're like, we're talking, you were talking to us about this for like months. You lift out airplanes to shoot the thing down, and the drones are like, don't worry about it."
Oh, Achilles.
Yep.
What if it turns out you were sent here before your planet was destroyed by your parents, and you landed in a place you got raised by your parents?
There are no superheroes, brother. There's only Jesus. He's the only superhero.
And Gigi, he's not old enough yet. He's got to like save a bus just out of just like, oh no, there's a bus, and he's got to pick it up. So it didn't come. He didn't. Superman didn't know it. We're just waiting for Achilles. Some ship or a helicopter starts crashing, and he's gonna fly up, and he doesn't know yet.
Now,
Gigi.
now I'll show you some superhero powers when I get to ride. It's coming up quick.
Now back to biology.
Back to
I wait.
biology, right?
I wait till our
Even
super
though,
uses have aliens
let me
power.
give the proper response to Gigi. I would never claim to be from another planet because those things don't exist. So keep that in mind.
I gotta go, guys. It's
All
been
right,
fun.
see ya. No problem.
Yeah.
Bye bye, everyone. Whoever wants to go can go. There you go.
have a good stream, guys.
Bye bye, brother.
All right. I didn't do that one.
Well, all I gotta say to that is babushka.
Achilles. Yeah.
Gotta have the last word. Yeah.
Hold that.
What?
That thing I think we actually saw on the radio.
I'm sorry, what?
That thing I found on the news thing. It talked about Greece. Talked about multiple universe. I guess.
Yeah, I checked it out, and it does talk about specific philosophers that were saying things like that. And I've had at least 10 philosophy classes in the American university, and we've talked a lot about this, how things are re-emerging, and it's the old philosophy coming back again, and now it comes back as science. But I didn't know enough back then when I was in the university to know that it's all a joke. I actually believed that, oh, how interesting. Yeah, we're going back to what the Greek philosophers were actually saying all along. But the whole multiverse idea it didn't exist yet. It was 2005 when I was in your university, 2005, 6, and a couple of years before, but here in Greece. And the whole multiverse excuse for why we don't understand so much stuff hadn't come up yet. So this is what's happening. They make a theory. They're trying to push it. Some people give a pushback. When the pushback is too big, they come up with something new. And then they push that. And then there is another pushback against that. And now the new thing is the quantum theory, because you can't mess with it, because nobody understands those numbers. And the superposition, something can be and not be at the same time. And you're like, whoa, why are you smoking, man? And now we have dark matter. Turns out that it's just like the known universe is something like 3%. Everything else is dark energy, dark matter. And they'll keep doing this until the end of this world. And that's why we're trying to wake you up and see that these are just lies. That's all they are. And if people tell you, trust me, because I'm the scientist, well, that ain't science. That's faith. Having faith in that scientist that he wouldn't lie to you, or that he is not getting paid, just like the Nazi scientists were paid and they were conducting experiments on people, or how the tobacco companies scientists are still scientists and they are trying to disprove for years that cancer is linked to smoking. So yeah, let me just get a little bit into this. So I want to, okay, how do we do this? There we go. So as you might notice, biology is a Greek word, biologia, all right? Everything about life. That's what biology means. And this, wait a minute, which one did I bring up here? That was not, that is not first grade. This is third grade. We'll go there in sequence. So I will remove this one. Gigi, you have the main screen for now until I share again. So wait, oh, it just gives me a title, biology, doesn't it? Okay, so here we are on first grade. First grade, all right? This is the year that children get out of, hey, let's play soccer, let's play basketball, and they get into some serious stuff. So you don't want to know who wrote it, and this is going to be all Greek to you. I will read what is important, but let's start with the first thing that a child learns. Biology is the science of life. Now, if you check your books, it might say that biology is the science of the origins of life. Until we have evidence, the origin of life is a theory and a religion, and that's why it is not in Greek biology books. All right? Biology is the science of life, which means that it deals with studying organisms like plants, animals, etc. Biologists, researchers are observing the shape and the members, the parts of organisms. They study their functions. They see similarities and differences between the two. And it then goes into microorganisms, blah, blah, blah. So I noticed something important immediately here. The first thing that a child then learns is introduction to the scientific method. All right? First
I
grade.
remember that.
You cannot have somebody that calls himself anything and does not understand the scientific method. That's why in the first book of biology in Greek high schools, there is the scientific method. So they understand immediately the difference between believing in evolution or not. So it starts with observation, formulating a hypothesis, checking the hypothesis through experimentation or observation, and then, according to the result of this little
No clue.
Just a second.
Achilles? Oh, just a minute, Achilles. Steph's saying there's no sound in the YouTube stream, and I have it muted. Do you know what we must? Um, actually, I was just getting sound. Anybody else in the chat not hear stuff? Or is it just because Stephanie's going to try to do a coup and God's not letting her? All they hear is the president. I like it. I really like it. Thank you, everybody, for joining the PG's President Show. Ignore the guy that has all the information and all the brains, and you can listen to me. Oh, you know what? You're not on. Achilles, you're not on
So at
the.
least we found the problem. Okay. So when I'm on another page, it throws me out. So how am I going to do this? Okay,
Well,
you guys can at least turn off the listen off stage feeds. So if it kicks me out again, you can notice, because you didn't notice because the offline feeds are on. So turn it off.
okay.
Oh man. And at least I saw where I kind of stopped. Let me check it out where it kicked me off. Okay.
Well, I enjoyed what you were saying.
All right. Let me do this again. I have no problem with that, Satan. I'll do it again. So I'll go back to chapter 1. I hope it doesn't kick me again. All right. So right after this, okay, so no, it actually stopped me a little earlier. It stopped me on the intro. I'll do it faster. So after telling children the difference between animals and plants, do you see any tree here connecting them? Right? It is saying that we separate organisms in microorganisms, plants, animals, which are also separated in those that have spines and those that don't have spines. All right, I'll be coming back in and be checking. And then it proceeds and says what an organism must be doing to be considered an organism. It needs to feed, it needs to breathe, blah, 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 blah. Do you see any trees other than these trees here? Do you see any trees connecting all those? So I did say some nasty stuff about people that might say that, oh, Greeks are behind in science, or somebody that said that he wanted proof of whether first graders, the first thing that they learn is about the cell. And here's your proof. All right. I'm going to repeat what I said 5 minutes ago, which is, if you say that Greeks are behind on biology because they haven't arrived to evolution yet, as a friend, I want to warn you that everybody's going to call you stupid. You have biology because of Greeks. That's why it has a Greek name. And in the schools of Greeks, here's what they get taught on the second page. And this is the first grader. We're talking about 14-year-old children here, and they are being shown and will be examined on the animal cell versus the differences of the plant cell.
But Achilles, I got to stop you. How are they going to do anything for science if they're not taught that these two cells came in by chance through chemicals, random chemicals in pond scum? You know,
Yeah, yeah,
you're really
which reminds me of another thing. Hello, hello. Guess who's here to help me swing swords around after he fixes his microphone? We're gonna have to come in, back out, back out, back in, back out, back in, and it's gonna work. According to evolution, it should have fixed itself by now.
Well, they're still trying to teach me how the heck that all these complicated parts inside of those cells could have. I'm sorry, guys. It's
Stephen?
random chance
Yes.
mutations.
Yay! We got him.
He's here.
We got Stephen in the house.
My question is, all these cells with all that information, who input the information, right? Because knowledge doesn't just come from nowhere. You can't just magically manifest information.
The chemicals.
So it had to have a designer.
No,
Right.
it's the chemicals.
Yeah.
But the problem with that, Dan, and I know you're playing devil's advocate, is that you
Stupid
then need to have somebody make the chemicals.
And have
They
them
came from
come
space.
together in the right order.
That's why it really irritates me when scientists make the claim that they've created life in a lab. That's an absolute lie. They put together a chemistry set. A high schooler can do that. They put together pre-measured chemicals that already existed. They didn't make anything. They mixed what was already made. It's an idiotic claim.
Now, come on. They took a little cup. They went out to the pond. They scooped up a bunch, and they threw it into their lab, and that's how it happened. It wasn't pristine chemical.
But even if it did, and even if they do make it, it will only prove that it takes a creator to do it.
Right. Because they didn't just leave the chemicals in the lab and wish it the best of luck. They had to artificially mix, design, cool down, heat up. It's a meticulous process.
And I was joking because you look at that in my education in the 70s, you know, Miller Urey, they created the building blocks. They created, you know, they made amino acids, and it's like, well, how'd they do that? Well, they did, electricity and all these chemicals. And then the way we know they did that is because they had to scoop them out of the mix and separate them. Why did they have to scoop them out and separate them? Because they would have been back to junk within hours. Oh. So it wasn't that easy. They lied to me, and it's going to take a little bit more than... But scientists know what they're doing.
But do they?
Yeah,
No,
the
they
thing,
don't.
the
That's
thing
why it's
is,
going to take a lot more than them just saying that.
the thing is, I don't know.
Me again.
We were Stephen. It threw me off the stage as I was talking, and nobody noticed because they could hear me from the offstage feeds.
Oh, man.
And YouTube, thankfully, Steph told us like 5 minutes later that we can't hear you guys, and oh no. So there is a lot that I went on a rant and kept talking. So I don't know if it went out there. I said that just because you call yourself a scientist, that doesn't mean you're saying the truth. It is scientists that worked for Adolf, that they were doing horrible experiments on people. They are still scientists. It is scientists that have dedicated their lives in disproving the connection of tobacco with cancer, because the companies that are selling the cigarettes are paying them. They're still scientists. but they're not telling you the truth. I mean, why is it so hard to see that when you have in the cradle of science and sciences, children getting taught that these things don't have a connection on page one of a first grader? It spells it out, an A, B, C. We have living things and we have non-living things. We have microorganisms, we have plants, and we have animals. And we separate the animals to to spineless and with spine anyway. And there is no connecting line between them. Why is it so hard to see that what is happening over there, it's not science just because it's in a book? It's a religious belief, and it is the religious belief that the communists pushed to make China communist. They brought evolution in schools, and right now you are complaining about the socialism and communism that is taking over the United States, but you protect it. You are the one protecting it. This is where it starts. It starts by telling children that they didn't have a brilliant designer, that they don't need to give account to anyone, and they can go out there and do whatever they want.
Well, I would have to say, though, I push back on that, is that I don't think I've heard one of the atheists in our community push back against China when I say it. It's like, dudes, those guys, their morals, their culture, it's not a beneficial system to humans. Oh, no, you're xenophobic.
Well,
You're this. Like,
I hope they enjoy the virus then,
and
because they did great during that, didn't they? They were kicking on people's doors and pulling them out with how do you call that that you catch butterflies and fish with?
A butterfly net.
Right. They were catching people with those and taking them out of their house, right? Because of a positive test, because they're a great country over there.
No, and actually, they were locking people in their rooms, in their apartments for
Yeah.
10 days, and then opening them up and like,
or
oh, they died. They must have died of COVID, not
or
starving
yeah,
to death.
don't use keywords. Or you would wake up and there would be a barrier outside of your house of a big wall of plastic that you can't jump over, and it would write the word "you're quarantined." That's just what a great country does.
Well, it's even better than that. I actually posted this video just today, and it was just because so I have these weird isms, right? So sometimes I like to watch Chris Hansen, To Catch a Predator, catching pedophiles. Other times I like to watch courtroom appearances on YouTube. It's kind of like how I unwind my brain. And I came across this one today, and I made a little short out of it because, I don't really want you guys to comment on it as much as to listen, but I just thought it was so great how helpful the court was on encouraging the you-know-what. So let me show this to you guys. Oh, it was up. My bad. I really thought I could feel it. All right, so it doesn't really have visual, just audio.
There's to be 100 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. Court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived.
Yeah, that's an
That
issue.
was so helpful of the judge to help encourage people to be healthy, guys, right?
Actually, it was you had it on high speed, and I don't want it to play again. So can you please summarize without using the keywords what it just said, because I didn't catch it?
Yes. So what happened is this woman had to do 100 hours of community service. So the judge says, I'm issuing you 100 hours of community service. If you get the Ovid shot, then we will knock off 40 hours of your community service. We're not making you get the shot, but if you get the, you know what? Then
Mhm.
you will get 40 hours off your 100 hours of community service. How nice is that? Like,
Mm.
they're really proactively trying to
Save you.
save disenfranchised people in the court system. Like, that is really American, and I am so proud of the country I live in. I love my government.
And here is where the problem starts. This is what they brought in those schools back then, and we now have a guideline to know how a country can turn communistic. And this is it. This is the problem, starting with evolution. They didn't bring communism in schools, they brought evolution because they need to destroy the belief in a divine creator. And the United States was founded upon the premise of a creator. So this is how it starts, guys. Welcome to the Matrix.
Well,
It,
they had to do it because that was really the only stepping stone, was to bring in socialism first. Because no American would devalue themselves to the degree of socialism like that willingly.
right. Stephen, I want you to. Somebody might say that what I have here on screen is not from a first grader. So I want to show you the next picture. All right. So can you see who the cell and what it has inside is directed towards? This is the first page of a first grader school on biology.
And they want these kids to believe, stay right there for a second, Achilles. Can you go back up to the house? They want a child to believe that the cell listed above is no more complex than just the human home. And that first is the biggest lie. The cell is so complex. One single cell is more complex than a spaceship that supposedly puts men on the moon. And they want to equate a cell to a house? So that's a little bizarre.
No,
They also want this child to believe that the house did not have a contractor or a builder. They're teaching the children that this house built itself over billions of years.
right. And here, although I don't think I kind of either somebody muted, yeah, okay, Stephen muted, and it sounded to me like I dropped again. So I was just checking. So what the book does here is trying to explain to this child, because we're talking about a 14-year-old child here. It is trying to explain to it that just like a house has a structure, the cell of a living creature and the cell of a plant have these parts in their structure. And it talks about the outer membrane, which separates it from the environment, just like the walls of a house do. So it doesn't say that this is proof that there is a creator because there is a creator at a house. It doesn't say that. And to be honest with the evolutionists, I would have an issue with it as well, even though it makes sense. That would be religion. This is a biology book. So you cannot tell the obvious that the house has a creator, and let alone the absurdity of saying that it made itself. Thoughts? I don't know if you have any. Otherwise, I'm not going to go like what is a cell and all that stuff. I'm just showing you the first page of a 14-year-old child getting taught membranes and mitochondriums or mitochondria, and having exams on it. Like this is biology. It's not where it comes from. So you have connected those two. It's false. It's no longer science. It would be exactly the same as saying, this is proof here that there is a God. That is not science. It is a religious belief, although it does make sense. And this is what the Proverbs guys are here to do, to show you that it's more than faith. The evidence is everywhere. You cannot have this getting created on its own. And one of the things that I didn't come out because I was backstage is that my favorite part of that destroys evolution in a cell is not the complexity of the mitochondria. My favorite part is the membrane, because to have an organism, that can live, it cannot be affected by the exterior environment in a way that, if the wind blows, you get all the wind. It has to have like a wall, so it can have its own uh, ecosystem. Got it. Greek word. That's why it popped easily. It has to have its own ecosystem. In order, if it has its own ecosystem and it has its own membrane, then nothing can penetrate the membrane. So how could it come together with something else and become something bigger? The first organism that we can think of, the amoeba, is way too complicated to be a first organism. And it still has a membrane. So how did it, from the membrane within it, it started allowing some things to come in and it started evolving from within? Guys, can you just see how stupid this is and how it is Satan's lie to tell you that you're all alone down here, so you are the authority? I mean, keep in mind that we've tried and we'll keep going, but you're going to be held accountable because you've heard it. It's not like you didn't hear it. God is going to laugh with you. It's not just about punishment and judgment. It's also about ridicule. You're seriously going to go up to the Creator and say, well, you didn't show me any proof. I've been showing it to first graders, he's going to tell you. Somebody take the mic off me. It's on fire.
Let me just start by saying evolution sucks, okay? Let's break it down, right? You're telling little innocent children from a very young age that they don't matter, that they have no divine future after they die, that they have no God that they're accountable to, that there are no laws of the universe that gauge morality. You're telling them that they're no more valuable than an animal that you can kick when you're angry at it. And then we expect, or we wonder why society is falling apart. Maybe it's because of the trash we're feeding our children?
And if you look into it, you'll see that the answer is yes, because it all started exploding after evolution was brought in schools. But guys, I just thought of translating this and it actually worked. The whole thing. Not the pictures. Oh, just the first page? Oh, well, some of it. This is it. This is the same book that we were checking. And it's now through Google Translate. All right. That's good enough. Well, not the pictures. So here is the proof that I'm not lying to you. All right. These are the things that a child is getting examined on the first day in their biology school and at 14. And this, for Americans, is considered university level. Added with the whole tree that it comes from somewhere else and something else, and it evolved into this. So, yeah, Gigi, go ahead. We try to get to the next page here. Did I drop?
Stephen, yeah, I talked to you. See about, like, would it be great Sunday you three come on my show? Or just have you three be on there and I can
Who
have
three?
you, Achilles, and Dan.
Oh, yeah, like a closed panel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would come on a closed panel, Gigi. But to be honest with you, I'm not totally fond of about a third of your company.
Oh, sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. That's America, man. You're allowed to have your own opinions. And I know you like to be friends with everybody.
But would that be good?
Yeah, well, I'll come on. If Dan and Achilles are coming on, we'll stop by.
Okay, what time? Was it 6:30 Eastern Standard Time? Dan?
So I told Gigi that although yes, we're not always in the mood of debating the obvious. We do have the tendency to be a little bloodthirsty.
You know what we
So,
could do, though?
so if he could control the over talking, we could make it an open panel.
It's up to
Go
you
ahead,
guys.
go ahead, Steven.
I lost my train of thought. And I'm sorry for interrupting. I had an ADHD moment.
Okay.
So I went to the next page, and now it's talking about the multicellular organisms. And here is something interesting, which I want to see if it translates. Oh, look, in the amoeba, all functions are performed by a single cell. All right. So here's a question for my brother Stephen. What does it say here, Stephen? Is it too small to read?
All dogs belong to the same species. No.
Why is it so hard for some Americans? Tell me. This is a first grader's book.
And isn't their argument that each one of those dogs on the screen represented is a species of its own? Or no? Like, what are the guidelines for their species? Since they've tried to redefine what a kind is.
I think then it's genome or type. I don't know. I know something else though. We gotta change the background. I have 4 dogs now.
Okay.
I got
what?
a new one.
You got a new dog?
Yeah.
You are a glutton for punishment. I've been begging you to get a wife. You've been putting it off, and then you go get another dog like it's just a common Friday?
I didn't choose it. My sister brought one in, and she lied about finding it on the street. But I told her, you don't find pure-blooded 2-month-old dogs on the street. Tell me the truth. And she's like, okay, I bought it, okay? So now, the 4, yeah, like I didn't have enough. So here's another question for you, my brother. Do you see any lines in this picture here?
No, but to be fair, this book probably isn't millions of years old yet. I think that comes around the year 3 million, the lines.
Yeah, they start forming, right?
You know, it took like 500-600 years for them to start adding, page markers, or, maybe 1,000 years for them to start adding page markers to the Bible and verse numbering.
Which I've been recently hearing a pastor talking about this and saying how it destroyed people's understanding of the Bible. And here's why. Because a long time ago, because they couldn't know how to go where they wanted to go in the Bible, they learned the whole thing. They had to understand everything. So if you told somebody, do you remember where John says this? You actually had to keep it in your head where it was. So people were learning and reading the whole Bible. And now they're like, yeah, okay, if I need something, I'll just know the verse and go to it. And they don't read the rest.
I had an idea that came back to me, Achilles.
Good.
What we can do, you, Dan, and I, on Gangster Show, is we can do a closed panel review of our video about Joseph in Egypt. Because that was fascinating truth information right there that counters fictitious Egyptology.
And we know that Gigi's fan base loves that video, huh?
Oh, Yeah.
Without, I don't even think I need to go on the other books. I have right here open the second grade school biology book, the third grade biology book, the fourth grade biology book, the fifth grade biology book, and guess what? The sixth grade biology book. But I don't think I need to go to them. But I can just show you one thing, and then I will call this argument dead or won. Let me show you the cover of the third grade.
Are you about to put a nail in a coffin? I
think,
love when you do that.
yeah, I think it's. So this is the cover for the third grade, fourth grade.
Uh-huh.
All right. So you have blood cells, Adam, and a creator.
Yeah.
All right. So that is a Christian nation. It's not going to lie to you. It's not going to tell it bluntly, because then it would be getting accused that it is a religion. It is biology. But there on the first page, they're like, we actually know how it happened.
Right.
There must have been a creator, right? So I don't, again, let me just scroll the first pages here to see that there will be no tree connecting life forms, right? It's going into
Claude, if you're so anxious to come talk to us, I'll shoot you an invite right now. Why wait? You have a standing invitation, my amigo. Crickets. Crickets from a frog. Interesting. I'm sorry, as Dan would put it, a fake frog. Is it fake frog, Dan?
I'm satisfied with what we've shown so far, and I'm fine with opening up the panel and bringing in whoever you want, whoever dares to want to come in and debate this.
They're not coming in, Achilles. That's why I offered. We can continue.
Then I don't know, man. Continue. Like I keep scrolling now, the fourth grade. If you do find a tree that connects, you can again, cellular membrane and what comes in and how it gets metabolized to anabolism and catabolism. I don't know how, if you have other words for them, and what the ATP does. 60% of that getting out as heat. This is metabolism. This is fourth grade. And for those that believe that they come from an ape, this might sound like university level, but they are not. They are just the basics of biology. And this is what your children should be getting taught instead of relating to birds. Nobody says they are related to birds. Yeah, but do they have a common ancestor? Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I'm tired of that argument too. They'll say, well, we're not related like you are related to your brother or sister. We're related like you are to a great, 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 great grandmother. Dude.
Isn't that the same with my brother and sister and my cousin? Aren't we related with our great, 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 great? We are cousins.
Yeah.
Stephen, what do you call the father or mother of a trans child?
The mom or dad.
Transparent.
I walked right into that.
Oh man. Then we go, oh, okay, here's something interesting. For those that still don't see that there is a creator. the most complex chemical formula that exists on the earth, what is it?
The most what chemical?
The most complex
The most
chemical
complex chemical?
formula that exists on the earth.
Tell me.
Right.
You keep dropping. I think it's because you have your window open. Do
Yeah.
you have the listen off stage feeds turned on? If you do, turn that off.
I have it on, but you guys should keep it off.
I have mine off too. You need to shut yours off. It's using all your bandwidth. Evemuck says wonky.
Yeah. And we missed like 5 minutes, but I think we covered for them. I don't know, even if it was 5, I think it was 2. And I wrote it in the chat. And thank you again, Steph, for letting us know. So the most complex chemical formula on the earth is not the formula to create a nuclear reaction of plutonium. The most complex chemical formula on the earth is the blood. It is 1 line long, and we should make this part 3 and talk about the blood, how it proves a creator. So the blood starts at the, it regulates all over the body, but the process of it goes to the lungs and picks up a bubble of air. Do you know what happens in your bloodstream if you put a small bubble of air inside your bloodstream? You die. You cannot have air in your veins. So that's why the first fourth of the formula hits that bubble of air with something, which I don't remember what it is, I think it's ammonia, and turns it into a physical matter, like dust. So now it can carry it. So it carries it, and the second part, it goes to the organ that it needs to oxygenate, to give oxygen to. And the second part of the formula is to reverse that process and turn it back into a bubble of oxygen. So it turns it back into a bubble of oxygen, and now the 2 parts from the formula have been completed, and it has 2 more parts. The other parts are for when from that organ it now creates a bubble of carbon dioxide. So it hits the carbon dioxide with the 3rd part of the formula, and it turns that into dust, and it moves that through your veins, taking it back to your lungs, and the 4th part of the formula transforms that dust into a bubble, and it can be released from your lungs. Question to the panel: which part evolved first in that formula?
Interesting question, because my initial answer would be obviously the symbiotic relationship between the different compounds would have to emerge simultaneously, right?
Right.
But obviously that can't be the right answer. So maybe it just takes a couple million years to set in.
And then the organism can actually live.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So I think we have solved it, Achilles.
Yeah.
We actually may have been wrong about creationism all along.
It just needs to be dead for 2 million years.
Right. Well, of course.
Until it evolves the full formula. So for those that don't understand our inside joke here, this whole formula cannot work if one of those parts was not there. It's either all of it or none of it. So let's not even go further for the night. Let's not get into DNA and the multitude of millions of lines of code of information that it carries inside. But if you guys want to, we'll do this on the next one. I mean, I just named this scientific lies part B, and we can have a part C. So here, the scientific lies are not in science. It's in the science that you guys call science up there. When I say you guys, I said that earlier, Stephen. I made a distinction between the smart Americans and the dumb Americans. If you, if you still don't see a creator, you're part of dumb America. And that dumb America is creating problems all over the earth. Please wake up. The world needs the smart ones. So please wake up. Understand that you don't come from an ape. You have no common ancestor with a fish. All right? Get over on this side because real science is waiting on you to wake up from that crap. And join Dan and Stephen and Gigi and Stephanie and everybody that is on the smarter side of things, and they can see that these things cannot create themselves through random mutations, which we've never seen any good ones. But man, I'm done.
All right. Well, thank you for that very insightful presentation. Are there any questions? Dan is technically not here. He is in the comment section taking Dan's son to the batting range? That can't be right. My memory's terrible. He is taking him to drum lessons. I was way off. So yeah.
Drama lesson.
Yeah, and then he's going to get him ice cream, even though his wife said no.
Drum lessons. I thought drama lessons. And
no, drum lessons, like.
yeah. Well, it's not very wise if, like, you need to teach some music to your child. You don't teach it drums. I mean, don't you like sleeping, Dan?
I mean, that's why every time Bobby gets a toy that makes noise, I immediately let him play with it in the bathtub.
So it destroys itself.
I mean, you said that, Achilles. Uncle Achilles said that, not Daddy. I'm being the cool dad, letting him play with his toys that make a lot of noise in the bathtub.
Can I take this in the bathtub? Yes, you can.
Son, I don't want to take your joy from you. Of course you can. Hey, don't forget the other one. The other one that roars real big, that is the one to take underwater, man.
The next thing you know, he's going to ask for your phone that he plays that video game with. You know?
He already does, Achilles. He plays on my phone. He turns YouTube on himself. Although lately, we've had to stop him from watching YouTube altogether, pretty much, except for, like, Veggie Tales.
Oh, dude, you have to.
Yeah.
Because it throws some advertisements that they are not for children.
No, dude, it's worse than that. Okay, so even when you go on to YouTube Kids, which is supposed to be safe for young children, they have all these channels who have taken popular kids' cartoons and made adult scary content out of it.
I know.
And now my son has a horror obsession.
And they come random. There is nobody there to control that this is this needs to get out of the algorithm. So your child is gonna watch a couple of good ones, and then when you're not seeing, it's gonna see some horror.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is they name it even after these popular cartoons. So my son tells me I'm watching Bluey, and I walk in the room, I see Bluey on the screen. Okay, Bluey is, somewhat safe. But it's not regular Bluey. It's something much more sinister. They've just like perverted a cartoon and they're getting kids to watch all these demonic shows.
Yep, I'm sorry I didn't think of warning you about this because I knew it for the past 5 years or more.
Dude, even on the actual shows though, like I walked in one day on an episode of Bluey, so we already had to start being real careful with that one, but it was teaching the kids we're collecting a bunch of articles to put together for a seance.
What is that? Seance?
A seance, like communicating with the dead, witchcraft.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, teaching the kids how to do a spell. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Oh my God. I'll be right back.
Man. And Gigi, I don't know how much of the blame is on you, but I'd say a lot. Are you there, Gigi?
Oh, sorry about that.
So we have a pastor coming on soon. He is a pre-wrath pastor, and he wants to come on and have. I invited him to come on that discussion that we had between Tim Kenthoven and the other gentleman, and he was busy at the time. So he wants to come on now and do a whole presentation on pre-wrath rapture and discuss the doctrine of pre-trib rapture also. So that should be interesting.
Pastor,
and then a couple other big shows coming up.
Pastor Jay?
Are we going to share the other one or not?
No, not yet. Let's let that be a nice big surprise for everybody.
Okay.
But that will be rolling out in the next, really 2 weeks. We'll have it working backstage in the next 2 weeks. But by the next 3 weeks, it'll be going.
Can I also, since I felt I feel satisfied with the damage done today.
You want to go backstage?
Oh, no. I was thinking of showing you the end result of the bike.
Okay.
I'm done today. Tomorrow I'm going to get some gasoline and start it. So there will be a reveal on this channel. Plus, starting it means I'm going to make one of my weirdos about it, and it's going to be showcased on our channel. Oh, Stephen, I just
We're done.
So that's what happened with that blue thing that I had bought. Now,
That is so nice.
now the pretty stuff are the details, which are not easy to see. It's all the protections and stuff. But at the top there, it says built, not bought, because it is a model that is not included. It doesn't come to Europe, and I had to build it from scratch. And this is what I've been up to. So much stuff about it, man. Yeah.
Well, I guess you were ready to tell everybody. Now you guys know why Achilles has not been around as much.
And now, after this video that is coming out, which I've showcased before, and I actually played this video on Missing Mod's channel when it was me and her, and then, or was it? And then I think she took it down, so it's no longer up. But I'm working on a video which doesn't relate so much to a bike, but it relates to the fact that I'm going riding, and it has some messages on, as my channel does, some warnings about some stuff like idolatry. Somebody said the other day, I've had a couple of good back and forths with some demons in some people. I just happened to randomly go on some show, in the chat and heard them bad mouthing us, like surprise, surprise, saying oh yeah, it was Christian's show on idolatry. I was like, oh, that should be interesting. Let me check it out. And I lost the start, and I go in the chat and check what's happening, and they were talking about how we here are idolizing Ken Hovind. So I just started by defending that and saying you guys are just stupid, just because we're telling you that your whole evolution theory got obliterated by that guy. That doesn't mean we idolize him.
And frankly, I don't care what they think. Kent
All right.
Hovind is a good man who cares a lot about winning a lot of souls. And truthfully, if they don't like it, we'll run down to Home Depot, we'll pick up a hammer and some nails and some wood, we'll build a bridge, and they can just get on over it.
Plus, they find things that, yeah, but he's this, but he's that. Yeah, that's why that's exactly how we don't idolize him, because he's a brother like us. I wish I can achieve the soul winning that he has. Until then, we all have faults. We all make mistakes. We are all human, and you cannot attack his fruit of destroying evolution. And as we said earlier, before you come in here, Stephen, what Ken Hovind has also achieved is to wake up the next generation to do the same.
Yes, he did. Not even doing, he did.
Yeah.
And now they have all of us to counter. And that's dangerous for them. And that's always been why they hated him so much.
And it's not just us. It's all over the place, Hey, where's that guy? I forgot his name. I've missed him. The guy that makes a lot of videos on starfish.
Oh, Sea Labs.
Sea Labs, yes. Yeah. So people are waking up to this whole deception, and that's why they keep attacking Ken Holman so much, because he started it.
That's true, though. Honestly, he did start it. And they hate that. You're right. They can't control it now.
And they can keep attacking, and now it's off. It has taken off by itself. Like they actually need to attack everybody out there that is attacking this construct to break it. And people keep defending it. No, I believe it because science, science. We just proved to you that true science does not draw lines in books. It separates them. It separates the things. It says this is an animal, this is a plant. It should have something at the bottom saying, we know that some Americans think that these are connected, but let's not talk about those. Let's leave that for another class, like the special needs class or something. I'm sorry if I label and say Americans. I am always referring to those that believe in evolution, because I know it's getting taught in the States, and not only in schools, but also universities. And I am very pissed off with this. I experienced the United States. I feel like it's a second home to me. I love American people. I see their struggles. I know how imprisoned you are in a government nobody enjoys. And I empathize and suffer the same. And if I call some stupid, is until they prove me wrong. That's all. It's just those that believe in common ancestors and stuff. That's all.
Yeah.
Wake up, BBM. I mean, it's dead. Stop kicking it. It's dead.
Even Darwin questioned if he had invested in a big lie. A lie that he created. I mean, he didn't create it, but he reestablished it.
Yeah. Well, you remember that comment? I saw you hearted it, so I hope you actually read it. That guy that says all these are wrong, this doesn't come from Aristotle, and blah blah.
Of course, I read that one.
And I brought the paper. I told him where to go look if he still doesn't believe it. That there are research papers on Aristotle called Aristotle and the Theory of Evolution. And he's like, no, you're lying. Blah, blah. Well, here's the link. This is where you can go, academia.edu. I mean, it doesn't say Heart of Flesh or Stephen Andrew. It's academia.edu. And he
Right.
just kept going, and I didn't respond further. I mean, what do you do with people like that?
Mm-mm. Nothing. You can't do anything with that, Achilles.
So yeah, he resurfaced it. That's it.
Well, it's no surprise that the peddlers of evolution are so cultic, right? Because they've done what the Christians did in, the later centuries, closer to Constantine era, but even before and after him. They hijacked another religion and they gave it a facelift, right? So Messianic Jews and then the Gentiles embraced Catholicism before it was Roman Catholic, and they bring in, to appease the Gentiles, all this paganism and really mucky up the water. And evolution has done that same exact thing with paganism also. Just different elements of paganism that Christianity didn't borrow from.
And one thing we addressed at the beginning of the show, I repeat it because you weren't here, is how what is happening today is a resurfacing of the most appealing to minds philosophies, and they now call them science. So Gigi sent me a video how the theory of the universes, multiverse theory, goes back to Greek philosophers. Do you remember, Stephen, that we did a video on Calvinism being based on Plato?
Yes.
Gigi sent me another video on that with quotes from Calvin himself, praising Plato. I don't remember which video of mine in the past I said this, but it must be like 5 years ago. I'm asking people, 2018, I remember the video, that the Big Bang cosmology comes from Greek philosophy and mythology. So the reason they're doing this is because they have noticed that this is their last resort to hit the truth. It is so appealing when one discovers it. They have to go back before Jesus, and bring what was appealing back then to try to fool the minds again. And this time they just add the tag, we're the scientists here, so trust us. But that too is a religion. If you have to trust them, it's a religion. Science is, this is what it is, and here's why. Here's the evidence. You can examine them yourself. That's what science is. But they're not doing that. They just tag them science and don't ask. You're not a scientist. You have to go through a multitude of controlled universities to teach you how you come from an ape in order for us to accept what you're saying. Wake up, guys. This all can be summed in one name: Satan. He's the father of lies, John 8:44. He's the opposite to the truth. He's creating any narrative to take you away from the truth. And what truth? That you are already saved. You are already on your way to heaven. All you need to do is accept the works that Jesus did, and you're going. It's that easy. And he's trying to complicate it for you and say, no, you have to be a good guy. You have to, do all these things and provide all that and do charity and, um, all the stuff that he wants you to do instead of telling you that it's not your works. It's what works Jesus did. So he'll try his best. He's now taking you back to ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, pretty soon ancient Babylon. Oh yeah, let's not forget the 1,000 gates of Baal installed all over the world, right? Babylon is also included.
Yeah, they erected the
Amen.
Arch of Baal, and then
Yep.
they sent it around to every financial capital around the world.
Yep.
And erected it. But so first they tried to bring it to the US and call it the Arch of Baal, and Americans went nuts. Like, we rejected it. Then they waited, I think it was just a couple short years, renamed it something else, like a Unity Arch or something stupid, and then Americans bought it.
Yeah, and they brought it to Washington, D.C.
I don't know about that. I thought they only brought it to New York.
Both.
Did they bring it to Washington?
Yep, right in front of the White House.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. They have the giant phallus erected, right there in D.C.
Of Osiris.
Osiris's phallus, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That got me thinking the other day, Achilles, when we were talking about the statues that your country and mine both have all over the place. And it reminded me of back in around 08 when they started ripping down all the Confederate statues all around the South. And I remember how mad I was because I've always been a lover of history. I'm a proud Southerner. So that really irritated me that we were trying to erase history. But looking back, I feel now like that was just God trying to sanctify the South a little bit more, right? Like God is the one who was instrumental in tearing down some of our idols, and I wish he had got all of them. I wish now they'd have ripped down every freaking statue in the South of a Confederate general or whatnot.
I was wondering whether we should bring up a short video that I have on the Arch of Baal, but I don't think it relates to this part of how we know that Christianity is true. So let's leave this for a next part.
Here.
Here. What does that expression mean?
Here means I agree, I concur. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Because it could mean the opposite, no, or something. So
no. That's like saying yes, I agree.
And people still doubt if I'm Greek, man. Like, Daniel, get serious.
I mean, I don't want to embarrass you, but if anyone doubts that you're Greek, they need to go back to the first episode you ever came on, and they'll believe you. You sound American now, but no, you had a thick Greek accent when we met.
Stephen.
Gangster.
I found that video.
Which
what
one?
Video?
The one where
oh yeah,
he just came on.
Yeah.
Oh, I found it the other day too, actually.
Oh man.
Yeah, is that crazy?
I actually know exactly which video it is.
And I look like all blue because I couldn't even get a avatar in. I hear clicks, so that means it's coming.
I mean, let's see. I know exactly by the thumbnail which one it is.
Hey, you have to scroll back. We've done
a lot
of shows.
Dude, look at this. And even if we die tomorrow, all of this stuff is archived on multiple channels, on multiple platforms. They'll never get rid of it all. Never ever.
Oh man, I just saw Awake's intro. I love that song.
Dude, that whole intro was amazing. We really ought to try to revive it. Actually, we need to talk backstage, Achilles, about.
I actually would wanna ask Awake to not ask, tell her that she actually has permission to use this on her channel, because I just want people to have that intro. It is an amazing song.
Maybe you could vibe it up for her and
Yeah.
kind of make it her channel's logo and stuff.
Oh yeah. Does it have Proverbs? I don't think it has.
I would imagine it would have something about Proverbs.
At the beginning, yeah, true. Yeah, but that's complicated because I need to find the project and bring all the files from other hard drives now. That's I'm gonna have to just cut it. So wait, I saw something. Yeah, okay.
I'm still seeing stuff that you made.
Yeah. STDs.
Isn't it awesome our different editing styles? Like I can immediately tell from the thumbnails which ones I made and which ones you made.
Yeah, we came from a different path, and we brought in,
Achilles, do you remember this declaration of war on sin?
And do you remember what was happening at the time?
Brother. Calling all saints. What is sin? That was our episode before the declaration of war. Do you remember that? Good stuff.
Yeah, I don't remember what's in it. I was still very fresh.
This one got us in some trouble.
Oh, hey, look. I wasn't fresh. I was pale. But
No, you mean you were green.
Yeah.
All right. Man, Stump was still with us back here, dude. Here's the episode right here, I think.
Yeah, orthodoxy. This is the one I...
How you doing? I'll be very quick.
This is the one that he says, I emphatically state we do not worship.
And it's called the MBTI.
Heart of flesh.
There are
psychiatry.
Actually.
Yes.
Did I say Goofy Planet?
Yeah.
We're talking about
California. I don't see an icon, so I know if my volume is too high compared to yours.
No, your volume is very
You're good.
appropriate, and it sounds very good.
Okay.
I am a little baffled as to why your photo is like blue.
Okay, maybe that's because I just set up, so it will take me a second to add a picture.
You're fine. Okay.
I'm.
For now, we shall refer to you as the Phantom of the Opera.
Really?
Achilles, this is your and I's first conversation ever. Like, that wasn't in the message. Wasn't in the comments.
Yep.
Well, this is awesome. Oh, and look who's here, dude. Claude.
Oh, he's gonna fart in like a minute.
Oh, you're right. I have to boot him because he makes a fart sound. Dude, they hated you from the start. This first episode, you ticked off Claude, and Chuck hated your guts.
And it's funny that people like Chuck hated me because I said something. But this guy here, he just felt the energy from the beginning. He was like, this guy's my doom.
Yep.
This guy's like, let me change to my real self. So his mouth turned into a butt, and he started making sounds like that.
He panicked. like when you're so mad and you don't want to cuss at someone, so you just start mocking them, like mimicking them. Like a child, like Michael did. Yeah, like that's what Claude does here in just a minute. Oh. Well, yeah. Who are you? Tell us about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from real far away from you all, from y'all, as you said earlier, from y'all.
Look at the Netherlands. From Achilles, first episode, first interaction, and you're making fun of my accent.
I can
I haven't
keep this a secret
met
until
Christian yet.
you.
No, you hadn't met
Which one
Kristen.
is?
You met your match when you met my Mrs. Bolin.
It took me a
figure
minute
it out.
to understand Krista. Yes, it took
Did
me.
it really?
Yeah. But I was well trained. If I met her the same day, oh man.
Now look, that's how much the Southern accent variants are,
Yeah.
right? Like I have a Floridian Southern accent. If you're not from the deep South, you can pick up on my Southern isms immediately. But I obviously don't have a thick drawl like Krista does. So, in every state has a little bit of a different Southern accent.
And now I'm working on a surprise to you, which is I'm doing backstage meetings with that friend of mine from Chicago, and I'm explaining the gospel to him, and he has questions. And at some point soon, he's gonna come in, and he's half Greek, half American, and it's gonna be very interesting. You're gonna love him.
All right, dude, I'm looking forward to it.
He's not. I don't think he's gonna come in saved already, understanding the gospel. But this is why.
Wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, right. This is why he's coming. You know what? I hate listening to my voice, especially with.
Let's just hear like 2 more minutes. I'm so curious. I haven't listened to this in a long time. I'm curious what we talk about. I have always pulled up this video and clicked somewhere around the middle. So this is the first time I've ever, for a long time, listened to our first engagement.
Hello, this is Achilles.
Y'all.
You all. You all.
But from the accent. How about that?
Well, from the accent,
Ukraine.
I really think...
You.
I don't
God.
think it's Ukraine.
No, and don't say that keyword.
No, I'm telling you, it's Dutch or it is Netherlands. I was so wrong.
Okay, it's in Europe. It's in Europe. I'm in Greece. And
Oh, nice.
I am. I'm your
Did you
friend
hear
from the.
Achilles? Achilles said, ugh.
Meanwhile, I just thought that some people say whether I'm Greek or not. That's why we brought this up. And Stephen has also met one of my of the women I've spent some time with, and she was from Yugoslavia.
Mm-hmm.
And what should we do? Should we like start bringing witnesses from Greece to prove to people who just create strawmen? Like, how do we know he's from Greece? He could be lying. You know, do we have to do that?
You can't do that. You have to give people, our shadow viewers, something to listen for, right? So, like, I have to stop pointing out paganism and Christian holidays, and you're going to have to do your thing, too.
Yeah, man, they will not stop either. Like, you know, even if you do prove to them whatever they say about you, you prove them wrong, they will just jump to the next thing. They will conveniently forget this, that they lost the argument at, and we'll move to the next thing. So there is no victory. The only victory is when they wake up to the truth. At least that person that said that I'm not Greek is at least somebody who has arrived to the truth and believes in Jesus Christ. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But just because I'm attacking his idols, he needs to attack my whole heritage, like, you know, or in where I come from anyway, not heritage. He hasn't attacked my heritage. Others do.
I dare them to attack your heritage
And these are the
when Leonidas is around.
Yeah, no. When they attack heritage and there's something about Greeks, like, I just laugh. There is, you know, whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, they have the same criticisms against America, and that's fine. You and I criticize America all the time. Right is right, wrong is wrong. But You know, they'll make comments about how insignificant and young the United States is, and I'm thinking, brother, there are few countries in the history of the world who have had the vast impact that the United States has had on the entirety of the world.
Yeah.
We're probably one of 7 empires to have as big of an outreach, you think?
Yeah, that is true.
But we did it in 250 years. That's the difference. Whereas even all the other nations, Israel is ancient when Solomon was king. Greece is ancient. Egypt is ancient. All of these other cultures that can claim that they've conquered and had this vast reach over the whole world, beautiful. Do it in 250 years.
Good point. I can, let's resume.
All right. I was going to stop and give you grace, but I'm down.
The chat.
Oh, Achilleas!
Yes.
What?
Yes, and
I called you Achilleas?
You put an R there, I think, too. Achilleas.
Wait a minute. This is ridiculous.
I can keep this a secret until you figure it out from the accent. How about that?
Well, from the accent,
Ukraine.
I really think...
Oh,
I don't
God.
think it's Ukraine.
No, and don't say that keyword.
No, I'm telling you, it's Dutch or it is Netherlands.
Okay, it's in Europe. It's in Europe. I'm in Greece. And
Oh, nice.
I am. I'm your friend from the chat.
Oh, Achilleas!
Yes,
You made it!
yes. And
What the
this is
heck?
my name is pronounced Achilles.
Achilles.
Achilles, yeah, Achilles, yeah.
Oh, okay, just helping
Achilles.
you.
Actually, well, in my defense, I was homeschooled for the majority of my life, so
There you
don't
have
hold
it.
it against me.
Oh no,
You don't even need it.
I'm used to it. I'm used to it. I have actually spent a long time.
Achilles.
I've heard worse. Don't worry about it.
I'm forever gonna have to call you Archilio now.
Archilio, yeah.
Archilio. It
Sounded
sounded Italian.
You know, sounds like an armadillo, another species, a cousin to an armadillo. They're Archilio.
Wow, we have come a long way, my friend.
You know, I saw an armadillo in the States. It freaked me out. That thing. I saw it walking next to me. And I didn't freak out, but I didn't know. Should I go pet it? Does it bite? Is it gonna turn into a ball?
Please tell me that you did not pet that armadillo.
No. Thankfully, I let it be because something in me said, "Don't let it go. Just let it go."
Did you know that armadillos can carry leprosy?
I just saw how later how they can attack and their teeth and stuff like that. I didn't know at the time.
According to the science, the only thing more dangerous than an armadillo with leprosy is the theory of evolution.
Elaborate. How come?
Oh, I was just making a funny.
Oh.
Because petting an armadillo with leprosy is pretty darn dangerous, but still not as dangerous as teaching your children evolution.
Oh, yeah.
That is
agree.
child abuse.
I agree.
Yep. That's a CPS moment right there.
Greeks in California, I don't know how we survived, man, because we even thought that, what is that thing? I forgot the name now, not possum. Possums are cute, okay, but we thought raccoons, they're cute.
They are, but they're vicious.
Everybody was running away, and we were like sitting there watching it, and was like, "Oh man, it's so cute! Look." I don't know how we survived.
You know what though? Like, why didn't you ever go to Florida, dude? You could have experienced a little Australia in Florida.
Crocodiles.
Crocodiles, but also alligators, but also some sharks in our brackish waters, and also, you know, we have. What else do we have? Poisonous snakes, poisonous everything. Poisonous
Oh,
spiders. Venomous, I'm sorry,
we
venomous,
have
not poisonous.
vipers here. We don't have rattlesnakes, but
Well,
we have some
Well,
very.
we have rattlesnakes, copperheads, cottonmouths. Like, we have a variety of venomous snakes.
I did learn one thing. For those that don't know the difference, here it is between a crocodile and an alligator.
Yeah, you can tell by the snout. And that's a big gator.
Good, it's obvious. The crocodile is the one next to the alligator. That's it. I mean, this one is a crocodile, and the other one is an alligator.
Right. Well, no, the crocodile's the one with the narrow snout. The alligator has a shorter snub nose, but it also has a wider jaw.
Which one swims faster? That's what
I would say the crocodile.
All right. So if I see an alligator, I can, just ease my way out.
I will swim in a lake if it's clear enough, knowing there's a couple gators in it. If I know that there's a crocodile, yeah, I've done it my whole life. But if I know there's a crocodile in that lake, you couldn't pay me enough to go near it. You couldn't pay me enough. Krista, I've been to state parks in Florida, so I've seen a couple, 11, 12 footers. But you can find 12 and 13 footers all through Florida. But primarily, I'd say our gators are about 6 foot long, 6 to 8 feet, with their tail.
Stephen, I seen a video of you and Brother Pike hugging.
I don't want to know what kind of witchcraft you're talking of. Did you AI me, Gigi?
Yeah, have you too?
You're fired.
Sorry, Gigi. Sorry.
You're fired, Gigi. Well, I have to run it through Dan, but still probably fired.
Okay. Well, I had Aiden hugging Aiden.
I know, I saw that one.
Oh, and I had Dan as George Washington and Abe Lincoln dancing.
That was pretty funny too. I'll admit.
They switched places. It's a little weird. And then her dancing at a prank.
Let's see. Let's compare presidents. Abraham Lincoln invaded his own country.
Stephen, we lost you.
Oh no, he disappeared.
He got ruptured. I was left behind. Why did you do it, God? This didn't look good. Looks like no, he's from a computer. It doesn't run on a battery, so maybe he'll come back. Go ahead, Gigi.
Yeah, Dan dancing. That's funny.
Should we end the show? It is exactly 2.5 hours, so which makes it a round number.
All right.
Oh, Dan is here. He's just in the chat. Christian, I loved our discussion the other day. I hope the people around caught some stuff about how sneaky idolatry is and all the other stuff we discussed, and it was great. So maybe, Gigi, if you play that witchcraft video, he will come to stop it. Stephen.
Yeah. And we're like, they switch places while they're dancing.
Yeah, AI freaks me out like that. It does some weird, very weird stuff, man.
Yeah, like with Aiden, like another arm rolled out, I guess.
So is this a free program or you've paid for it?
You at these pay for it.
For a paid program, these mistakes, you shouldn't be doing them. I don't know. Taking people's money and not being able to deliver a single video that doesn't have errors in it. Let's show it. It's the BFF, right?
Yeah. Oh. Oh, they hug and kiss and make up.
1.4 thousand videos you have, Gigi.
Wow.
1.4 thousand videos. How do you feel about that?
I have no idea.
Are we gonna have a party at the 2000 mark?
Maybe. Well, I have Ver Pike as a toy.
Yeah, and I saw that. That's very good.
Have Dancing Dan.
Yeah, let's show that too. And we'll end the show with this.
Oh, this is weird. Whoa, they switch places.
And you know what I just noticed?
Yeah.
Your playback is way better here than it is on Restream. When you play a video on your channel, it always lags.
That's weird.
But here it plays like perfectly. So it's a Restream issue. It's not your what I told you the other day. I told you it's because you're through Wi-Fi. Remember?
Oh yeah.
So it's Restream. It's not that. So get rid of it. Just go to the free. You want an open panel with a lot of people though, and the free version of StreamYard has a limit. I don't know. Which plan do you have on Restream?
They're cheapest one.
It allows how many?
10.
10 on the cheapest one. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
All right, let me see if I can find our roaring ending. It's not here, huh? So I'm gonna have to find it and add it real quick. Upload new. I think it should be here because I never deleted it. All right, it should be here. Glitch 2 or untitled project. I think it's this one. I'm uploading it. Okay, it's not long. It shouldn't take long. 8% and counting. Okay. So the counter has begun, and when the video uploads, I'm gonna give us the outro. And thank you for being with us. And we hope you enjoyed today's show. And we apologize for taking it off course, but we are that kind of a train. We are a dirt train. We don't always go on the rails. We stick on the rails for a little time and then we go off and we just keep going until the train breaks down. So we hope you enjoyed this one and we'll see you on the next one. Any final words from our honorary member, Gigi?
Hope everyone have a good day.
Or night, wherever you guys are. It is, guess what time it is where I am?
5?
Yes, it is. 1:45, but still, yes. And our beloved president, any concluding statements? If you unmute yourself, that is. Because I know you're in the chat, therefore you should be able to hear me. But now he's messing, trying to open up another browser and find where it is and open the right tab. And remember to unmute. You got 5 seconds, sir. I'm counting inside me. They're over. So thank you all for being with us. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great night.
Good night.
Here it is.